Let's wait 5 more minutes and then we will start the session. Guys, until then, I'm just going to share some of the important links in the comments. You can even scan this to join our community. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're fine, Mastan.
Yes. Yeah, I guess this is right. Event is supposed to start at 8, so let's wait a bit more.
Hi, Mazdat. I think you are on mute in case you are talking.
Okay. I hope I'm uh, audible now. So before, obviously, we are waiting for others to join. I was just sharing this Discord server that we have, and I just wanted to inform people that we have Ask Me Anything for Dr. Davar in our Discord server. So in case you guys want to ask questions even after event, right? Maybe you are trying to soak in and you had some doubts, you can just enter those questions over here and we will make sure those get answered. So yeah, I have shared the links to Discord server. Let me do it one more time. To the AMA as well as the community. I'm just going to share one by one. This is for the community. And I have added one for AMA. Obviously, you will receive this through email because in the end, I will send you an email and there will be whole summary of whatever that has been said or discussed in the event. So you will get those links in that email also. So don't need to worry. Just considering we have time, I just wanted to you know do something or the other. Should we start? I guess we have 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think considering everyone else has joined on time, we should respect and we can start.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So guys, first of all, thank you for joining this event. This is our first event. Let me start with introducing myself as well as the community, give you guys an overview of this session, as well as introduce Dr. Davar, and then we can proceed with the session. Let me, first of all, introduce myself. My name is Mazdat Mirza, and I'm admin of Sci-Fi Cyber Crew. It's a very uh, fresh out the oven community initiative. And it is not just my initiative, right? It's a response to the gap in Indian cybersecurity space at this point of time. So, like how you guys have joined this event, there are people who has joined Discord server. There are people who are helping me behind the scene. I feel we are all connected through this one theme that is happening in cybersecurity, and that is the pace at which this space evolves, right? And now there is some extra tadka, I would say, like AI, quantum tech, and much more, right? So this space is accelerating at a great pace, and I really thought there is a need for a platform for all the Indian cybersecurity professionals where they can, at least get connect with what is happening. Now, obviously, you guys are obviously aware of what is happening because LinkedIn is full of it. But I really wanted to give you a closer look of, what is happening, what could be happening. So that is what the goal is. That I would say that is what the mission is, to make sure that you guys are aware of what is happening. And once we understand it, this is a goal, thoda far-fetched it might sound at this point of time, but what I really want is Indian professionals to understand कि what are the innovations happening, क्या हो रहा है, and then they can shape their career, industry, maybe India's future in a good way. So consider this session as something that we are all here to understand, and then we could shape what is next. So this event is part of the same initiative. The topic of this event is protecting AI models from evolving cybersecurity threats. Now, this is about AI models and how we could secure them. This is going to be part of a recurring theme, as you know, AI in cybersecurity. So we're going to talk about implementation, limitations, and what is next. Uh, that is what the intro is. Let me move ahead and say what is that we are going to do. So today we are going to do a very question answer kind of a format is going to take place. The reason I have chosen this format is because in PPT is basically one guy explaining things, right? So this is going to be much more interactive, and this is what I expect from you guys. There are three focus areas. As you could see, I have been, I guess, blasting you with all the information about the event. And these are the three focus areas. I'm just going to go over through them. Cybersecurity threat in AI development, pre-building security practices for AI model, risk of public AI models versus private alternatives. And the format is simple. We have 60 minutes, 45 minutes. We are just going to dissect this topic with Dr. Dattawala, right? And obviously, I will be asking him questions. He will be answering them. But after that, what I expect is you guys asking questions because I'm going to throw that into you. This is a conversation, guys. And at best, we should be talking as if we are having a chai at this point of time. So last 15 minutes, this is an open session. You can ask him off-topic questions, future doubts, anything and everything. But obviously, you are free to ask questions whenever possible. But here are some of the rules. Please keep your mic on mute. It will be great if you could keep your front camera open because then it will be much more personal. I obviously respect your privacy, but I do encourage you to keep your front camera open. And the last thing is, if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand, not physically. I would say there is a feature over here where you can raise your hand and then we will surely give you a chance to do so. That is all. Let's move to me introducing. Before that, I could see that there has been 18 people. And if I just want to take permission from Dr. Dattawala, it won't take much if I could ask some of our members to introduce themselves if they want to. That way we will know what is the audience, we will get a good idea of them.
Yeah, sure, definitely. No worries.
Uh, Varun, I guess my mic is pretty open. If anybody else is having this problem, please let me know. Okay. Let me start with Samira Sheikh. Samira Sheikh, if you would like to introduce yourself. But the thing is, let me explain you how you can introduce yourself. We have a limited time. Just please, you can explain what you do in 2 sentences or so, and then you can also tell us about how new you are to this concept of building AI products, LLM models, and have you work on it so that way, Dr. Dattawala will obviously, tailored his content around it.
Yeah. So that's hi everyone. I'm Samira, and I have been working with cybersecurity with Dr. Davar Dattawala since last year, and we're trying to build an LLM model. Also I'm quite interested and quite not new in AI because I have worked in London for last 7 years and have been built basic AI models. So not that new, not that prepared for the introduction as well, but yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. I would want Shreyash to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to make sure I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Please let me know. What I've been doing is I just graduated last year. I was not, I was getting into CTFs and red teaming and that sort of thing. And then eventually, there were these competitions that we ended up organizing. So we ended up organizing CTFs. I started making machines for them. Boot to root machines and other challenges, all sorts of challenges. Eventually, I did well in that space, and I got a contractual offer for making labs. So this is what I professionally do now for training vendors. So I make CV-based labs and Active Directory-based red teaming labs for vendors like Offensive Security, Parrot Security, Meta CTF, all those. And we were even in red teaming, we were worried about. Earlier on, we were worried about MCP servers coming in within our tools, and we were thinking maybe that'll eat up some into it. And then Anthropic started releasing some models. There was an initiative with Opus to do agentic pen testing, and now there's Mythos. So yeah, that is what got me interested in the session, and I was like, I should join in and see how people are doing on the AI security front of things.
Understood. So thank you, Shreyash. Animesh, if you would like to introduce yourself. Uh, Animesh, if
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. My
yes.
name is Animesh, and I'm currently in the third year of my engineering, electronics and telecommunications engineering. So I was really interested in this journey, the advent of AI in cybersecurity. So,
Okay.
and I'm a complete beginner, to be very honest.
Okay. That's completely fine. Thank you, Animesh. Beze Saji, if you would like to introduce yourself. Let me move forward. Aniket Kumar, if you would like to introduce yourself. Mehul Panchal, if you would like to.
Hello,
Anybody who,
everyone.
yes. Yeah,
Hello,
please go on.
everyone. My name is Mehul Panchal, and I am a penetration tester. I'm OSCP and OSCWE certified, and I do penetration testing. It's been almost 4 years, 5 years. I had been working with Accenture in Prague, Czech Republic, in their cyber fusion center. And then I left that company, and now I am doing freelance penetration testing. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mohan Yadav, if you would like to. Prince, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. Is my voice is
Okay.
audible?
Yes, yes. Mohan, you are audible.
Hi. Hi Moses. First of all, I would like to say thanks you for sharing this invite and scheduling this. And actually, I'm working as a cybersecurity professional, as an incident responder. And this AI protecting model and completely new thing for me. And like need to expose to get exposure in this field. So how the AI models will be important for the cybersecurity professionals in protecting the threats and all. So that's it from my end. Thank you.
Understood. Understood. Prince have introduced himself on the chat. I'm just going to read it. Uh, his quick intro is working as a cybersecurity consultant at Deloitte and has done MSc in cybersecurity and exploring in the AI security domain. So yeah, thank you, Prince. We will move ahead to Revant. Revant, if you would like to introduce yourself. After Revant, Rishi, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Yes, hello, I am Rushikesh. So basically, I have passed recently from I have done computer engineering. So I have like a year of experience into the cyber security, and I am now working into HCL as an GRC analyst. So what I expect from this session is that to get some insight about how AI is affecting into like GRC and other cyber fields.
Understood. Saju, if you would like to introduce yourself. After, yeah, please go on, Saju. Saji, I don't think you are audible. Uh, no, Saji, I don't think you are audible. We will come back to you. You please figure that out. Now we will go to Shivani Sharma if she wants to introduce herself.
Hello, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I have experience in other field related to PLM, and now I'm trying to break into cybersecurity. I have created few applications in AI, and also I have done one of the course in the quantum computers, and since now India also have its own quantum computer, I'm also like interested to know how this the security thing is going to be for not only the AI model but overall for cybersecurity field as well. Uh, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Soumitra, if you would like to introduce yourself. After Sumitra, Varun, if you would like to, uh, Varun, if you would like to introduce yourself. And Saju, after Varun, you can try one more time. If your mic, or else you could do something like Sumitra. Soumitra, sorry for that. He is having mic. Currently working as a cybersecurity analyst and focusing on AI, API, web application penetration testing. He is a ACA graduate, 21 years old, holds EJPT and ICCA certification, already exploring AI security domain and looking forward to connecting and learning with all of us. That's great. Varun, you have problem now with the mic. It's okay, Varun. You could just introduce yourself in the chat, or we could, skip it. But please figure out your mic thing. That will help you. Okay, Yogesh, I guess, guys, you can figure out your mic because it will be very important in case you want to ask questions. In case you are unable to use your mic, you can also ask questions in the chat and we will take it forward. Now, let me introduce, okay, Varun. Varun is a defense cybersecurity engineer currently exploring domains like OT cybersecurity and AI security. He's based in Gurgaon. Thank you, Varun, for your introduction. Now, let me rush this one. Let me introduce Dr. Davar. First of all, Dr. Davar Dattawala, thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. He is a founder and CTO at CyberAi Technologies, which is based in London, UK. He brings 21 years of experience in AI and cybersecurity, and he has been on forefront of building secure, privatized AI system. But here is what I have been able to gauge about him. Maybe you will be able to relate. He's a sort of a techno nerd. This is how we Gen Z would say it. He's like a technologist at heart and he has a curious mind. And if you will go through his blogs, his YouTube videos, you will know that he's someone who puts a great emphasis on curiosity. Considering, guys, AI is changing how things are going to function, cybersecurity is evolving in tandem, right? We are all here to figure out what is happening, what could happen, and so on. Consider this a group of a curious mind, and we are doing a surgery of this topic with obviously a curious soul, Dr. Dattawala. Thank you for being here. Now, I will move this session forward with our first question. After this, after I ask this question, Dr. Dattawala will respond. Thank you, Dr. Dattawala, for being here. First question is going to be relatively simple, basic, open-ended. This is about how LLM models are different from traditional software, considering they are ultimately built and are coded. So what is so unique? What are the unique challenges that could arise, or what are when integrating them into a product as well as building them privately?
So thank you all. Good evening. I know everyone, I think, mostly is in India and so late in the evening. So I really appreciate your enthusiasm and zeal. and the commitment, obviously, to come on this session so late in the evening on a Friday, actually, which is almost a weekend. So thanks again, Mazdat, for calling me in and for this session, guys. I'm a techie. I might go very technical, so feel free if you don't understand some concept. I really understand the depth of the audience. I know, like for example, we have Mehul, who's extremely like OSCP and an ethical hacker, and then we have some freshers from the college. So please feel free to slow down or ask any English, like any terminology, English, technical, non-technical, and yeah, so so thank you for the question. It's really nice. Just to give more background on me, I've done my doctorate in cybersecurity. I'm an ethical hacker since 2006, and yeah, done a lot more. And thank you, Mazhar, for covering other details. Right. So let me understand. So I think the question is, how are LLM models different from traditional software, considering they're all, let's say, ultimately built and coded, and how is it different, and what are the unique challenges when integrating or building AI models versus traditional software applications? Guys, I have two screens you might see because I can see better on a big screen. So if you face, it's not like I'm not concentrating, I'm just looking at the other screen. I hope, Mazda, you are able to hear me fine and no challenges there. All right,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So let's delve into this. So when we look at the traditional software, the traditional software is deterministic, meaning we expect the same input after an output. So essentially, we expect the same output after an input. So it means it should behave predictably and it should give me a predicted outcome. Now, the LLM systems, in that sense, are probabilistic or stochastic, as you may say. They generate obviously outputs which are based on learned token distribution, which means the same prompt can produce slightly different outputs, and the system's behavior emerges from, let's say, the data, the model ways, the context, the tools, prompts, rather than from explicit just business logic alone. So while in, let's say, the program that we build, we have a business logic and we want to understand what the customer wants, but apparently to get that relevant context driven output from the model is a challenge, and that's why it's so different in terms of the principle itself, right, compared to a traditional software. I am going to refer to any, actually, just recall, I'm going to share one link. I'm going to quote something called as OAS Top 10 LLM. Again, this is for a lot of people who may not be familiar with this, and I'm just searching for that link. I had that ready, and okay. So I'm going to share that link. See, this OWASP top 10, essentially, I'm going to refer that during the course of this conversation. It is actually a guidance provided on how to secure AI applications. So during our conversation here today, you would hear me talking and giving that as a standard in terms of what and how OWASP top 10 looks at it. And I've sent the link. I've also obviously shared my LinkedIn link as well. So please feel free to connect if you wish to. Right, so we'll go back, and when you're looking at stochastic and deterministic and probabilistic models, OAP's LLM guidance emphasizes that any natural language instruction and data that are often processed together, which is exactly why the risk. So when we look at AI, it is not just one element. There are multiple elements, and that's why the risk, like prompt injection and other classical hacking AI hacks, are qualitatively different from classic input injection. So obviously the way we hack is also a bit different because the model is different. Now, when we look at the challenges, with the second part of the question, the unique challenges are non-determinism. Testing is harder because outputs are not strictly fixed. When you look at instruction or the data ambiguity, the model may treat untrusted data as instructions, and that's why you need to be very good at your prompt engineering and your data cleaning and so on and so forth. Your context dependence, so the behavior changes based on the retrieved content, conversation history, tools, and memory. So entire the actually entire AI stack. The next unique challenge is the emergent failure mode, because we all know and we see this every day on LinkedIn and Instagram about hallucination, jailbreak, tool abuse, hidden prompt following. So these are obviously the failure modes, which is a unique challenge for an AI. And in the AI model, it's an expanded attack surface compared to traditional software. Because here you have model, you have prompts, you have plugins, you have retrieval pipelines, you have vector store, you have model hosting, you have packages, you have agent tools, And you can understand all this is becomes a part of your security boundary, right? So you, in the essence, the landscape is quite vast compared to traditional software. If you look at the OWASP 2025 LLM top 10 explicitly includes prompt injection, training data poisoning, model DOS, supply chain vulnerabilities, sensitive information disclosure, and excessive agencies, which are the key methods of hacking an AI model. To make it very simply and to end this, I think, conversation on this subject, traditional software execute code, whereas LLM system interpret language. And language is much messier attack surface than a code. That's how I would answer this question. And I'm happy to take a follow-up question, guys, right away if you want to ask something in between just on this subject.
If anybody would like to ask any question, please raise your hand, or else we will move to the next one. Yes, Shreyas, please go on.
Am I audible? First of all, I think because
Yes, you're fine.
all right. Since we were talking about the very basics, that when we build a traditional application, it is deterministic in nature, and when we are working with LLMs, there is there's some sort of uncertainty with respect to the output, right? So my question is, when it might be a bit out of touch for this specific question, but my question is, when we are talking about agentic AI, right? And we are talking about these days creating pipelines with agentic AI for
Deployment.
specific tasks in a given pipeline, right? I've heard about orchestrators and different roles like verifiers. So how do we actually take something that is not deterministic, that is uncertain, and then eventually just put it up in production?
So there is a method to it. So it is, and obviously, I would say right now AI actually itself is quite in an experimental phase. So yes, you're right. There is no right method, but at this moment, I think there is a good amount of matter to the madness. So for example, MCP really brought in a very good architectural structure. RAG, everyone knows about RAG. So I think we still, and if you look at like the models that we are building, we are confident with 99.99% that the outcome is predictable, and it is essentially, and we'll talk about this as part of this discussion about how the entire AI stack is, how you can safeguard it, and how you can go ahead and create a model which is so predictable, so secured, and what are the ways to do it. Obviously, I've shared the web's top 10 LLM. It also talks about how you can safeguard it. It is just one element. But I think if we go further, we'll talk about the payloads, the session, and the backends, and how the LLM security can work on a prompt chain, retrieval content, at the tool invocation layer, on output handling, authorization boundary around actions. So I think we will be covering that. So I think it's a good question. I think let's wait for the next, and I think I'll be able to answer it. If not, what we'll do is Shreyas will circle back towards the end of the session if you feel it's not really answered, if that's okay with you.
If that works, and I think then I should have a little patience and go through the session, and I think I'd learn a lot.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have these questions, so I don't repeat. It's like a full subject. So let's hold on. But I know the answer to that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Let's move to the next one. This question is obviously about OS top 10 LLM, right? So I just wanted to know, because see, there is OS top 10 for web application, there is OS top 10 for LLM. And if we compare them both, some stuff like certain risk, like input validation, access control, data leakage, and error handling are common things, right? Those occur in OS top for web as well as LLMs. For someone like who wants to start or who wants to build, uh, who wants to secure LLM models, what is the mindset shift first? What are the focus areas? What are the blind biases that they could pay attention to? Given that this common risk could manifest fundamentally different ways in web versus LLM context, and also how they manifest differently. Let me just repeat the question. when we look at OS top 10 for web application and compare it to OS top 10 for LLM, certain risks like input validation, access control, data leakage, and error handling are common. For someone who has a very strong background in web security and who want to transition into securing LLM models, what mindset shift, focus area, blind biases should they pay attention to? Given this common risk could manifest differently in web versus LLM context, and also how they manifest differently.
Right. Thank you, Marcel, for the question. So I think I will start with looking at, the common, let's look at the OAP's top 10 web application and the OAP's top 10 for LLMs. So coming to the question and starting with that first section. So the first mindset shift that is required is the point number one, stop assuming input is just data. So if you look at this first point, it means in web apps, input is usually treated as data to be validated before being passed to a deterministic background or an app, let's say a software code. In LLM systems, the model may interpret user input, retrieve content, emails, web pages, PDF, tool outputs as instructions. So the instruction itself is far too many. If you look at just the OAP's prompt injection guidance, which calls this out directly, the vulnerability exists because instructions and data are processed together in a natural language. As I even covered in the first element, that is a big key difference in AI because it's not just one data. There are so many things associated with that. And when we're trying to exploit the vulnerability, you're looking at both the instruction and the data processed together because it's an NLP, it's a natural language processing. That is point number one. Point number two, security moves from request validation to system behavior control. So if you're a web developer, or you know that what we try to do is when we build a form, for example, we try to validate the request from the back end by testing the front end, so on and so forth. When we are building the AI system here, we are actually looking at how do we control the system behavior itself. And that is actually a big discussion in the industry by itself, right? Now, how do we do it? So I'll go detail. In web security, you often secure routes. Let's say payloads, you secure the payloads, you secure the sessions, you secure the backends. So in LLM security, you must secure the prompt chain, the retrieval content, the tool invocation layer, the output handling, and important is authorization boundary around the actions. So because it's such a vast landscape, you want to understand what is the authorization boundary and around which time of actions is point number two. Point number three that you need to consider is common risk manifest differently compared to a traditional software. So here the risk overlap, but the mechanics differ. So the risk may be overlapping, but the way to mitigate the risk, the mechanic, the technical method is different. For example, let's take an example, input validation. So in an input validation, we talked about a web form, right? As a typical hacker, you'll block the malform payload. You provided access SQL injection strings, and you will have SQL meta characters to, let's say, that's how I would look from a hacking perspective. In order to hack a web application, right? In terms of only the input validation, that's only one feature right now we're talking about. If you look at the LLM for the same set of thing, which is a web form input validation, how we'll start? We'll look at we'll try to detect the malicious intent. We'll try to look at the instruction override pattern. We'll look at the hidden directives in retrieve content, and then we'll try to interact prompt injection. So it's quite complicated and it's quite detailed. Again, I know for some of you, this may go, let's say, how we say is a bouncer, but all I'm trying to say is in a web development, it is very simple because we were just validating the feature and we're trying to hack it, but through, let's say, simple SQL injection. But the LLM, it's a very different ball game because it starts with detecting the malicious intent. You're looking at the instruction override pattern. You're trying to look at the hidden directives in the retrieve content, and then you're looking at if there was any indirect prompt injection. So this is point number one. This is common risk input validation. I'll give you a second example, which I think everyone will correlate, and this is easy one. Access control. We all know about access control and how important it is in cybersecurity. Now let's look at the web application. When you look at access control, you're looking at the root or a resource level authorization, correct? We're looking at role-based access control. In the LLM, the model may summarize, infer, or retrieve the data of the user, which you should not see unless retrieval and tool calls are scoped correctly. But that's the challenge, right? Because when the model is trying to summarize it or infer or retrieve the data, they're exposing. I'm not saying it's common, but again, there is an opportunity for an hacker like me or Mehul as well, for us to look at the retrieval, and then we can use the tools and we can attack it. So that's the responsibility for you as an AI security specialist to ensure that the retrieval and the tool calls are scoped correctly. Otherwise, you're going to have an issue from an access perspective. I'll take one more example to make it very simple. I'm trying to. So we did the web application form, which is the input validation. We did the access control, which we just talked about, how it is different for web app. We're going to look at the third example, which is a data leakage. Now, we all know about data leakage. Again, it's a common cybersecurity concept, any leak that we always see on the newspaper. Let's look at web application. So when an web app would often have direct exposure through broken authorization or serialization. So like when in the middle attack, or there is a broken auth, so I will go and try to hack the key, get the certificate, so on and so forth, or serialization, as I mentioned. The LLM in the AI model, the leakage can happen through summarization, could happen through retrieval outreach or overreach, can obviously happen through prompt injection, or when the output itself is under transformation. So there are, just for one element, there are so many possible opportunities for me. And that's the most important thing. Even if you may not really understand this, these are really by itself large topics. But all I'm saying is just each element, the data leakage, where you have only two, or let's say one probability in a web application development. In LLM, I have actually have, let's say, a summarization, retrieval, or overreach, prompt injection, or output. So let's say 3 to 4. Now I'll give you one last example before I move to the next point, which is error handling. When we look at the web application, you handle the error through stack traces and exception leakage. But when you're looking at LLM, what are we looking at? How it's handling, how the error handling is happening is unsafe reasoning disclosure, tool traces, hidden system prompts, or sometimes revealing sensitive context in generated explanation. So the AI model is explaining and then also revealing some sensitive context. So these are the key examples. Now, coming back of how we coming back to the main question again. What are those? Let's say how we stop assuming and how we move. So we looked at. Let's say we said stop assuming input is just data. We looked at security move from request validation to system behavior. We looked at the common risk that I gave so many examples. We are now moving towards the next point, which is blind bias to watch for. So the most common blind bias from web security expert is, if I have sanitized the user input, I am safe. So my job as a tester in a web security world is, I've sanitized the user input, I am safe. But this is not true in LLM systems. In the LLM system, the threat may come from web page, your crawler read, CRM notes, PDF uploaded, connector responses, email body, plugin output. So what I'm saying is the mental model must change from protect the form input to treat every external context source as potentially hostile. So by itself, we can say zero trust model. But again, zero trust models is not really that relevant for AI. I will just emphasize that treat every external context source as potentially hostile in an AI model. It's as simple as that. If you look at OAP's latest material, it reflects this broader framing by treating the whole Gen AI application stack, not just the model, as a security problem. So from the known body itself, they are very clear. You have to look at the entire AI stack and not just the model, because the model is not a security problem, it's the entire AI stack. That's how I would summarize the answer to this question, Mazda. Thank you.
Okay. Now, considering when you were explaining, there was this one question from Varun. He has written this down in the chat. He has said, attackers know we use LLM to analyze logs, so they are now hiding malicious prompt injection inside the actual network traffic like in HTTP headers or package payload. So how do we particularly sanitize massive pipeline of raw network telemetry before it hits the LLM without destroying the forensic integrity of the original logs?
Oh, this is this is a big question, and um, so I would say, see, we all know that the prompt injection is a key issue. So let's like this one is very detailed. Let's say case by itself. But as a hacker, let's say when I am building a model, right? Not all of my team is, let's say, very like ethical hackers, and these are all AI ML engineers. They're data scientists, like any AI ML company. So the point here is we have to have our checks. Let's say I, as a founder and CTO, I need to make sure that there is a checklist, even just on prompt injection, saying what are the checks that we have to do. And it's not, again, this is not like a software testing, this is much more deeper. That's why AI red teaming comes into picture, which is where you need to have an AI red team player into your product development itself. Because you by itself, as you mentioned, if someone is that, let's say you have a hacker, in your case you mentioned that if the let's say to analyze logs, they're hiding malicious prompt injection. So we know this, they always hide that inside the actual traffic. That is fine. Okay, so in this, then if it's a production data already, your security stack should be able to detect any change in the HTTP header or packet payloads if there is a packet, if the packet is tampered with. This is a basic cybersecurity. Even before AI, we used to do this. So this is fine. This can get detected in one of the tools that you may have in your environment. But I'm now thinking a bit further, which is, I think, perhaps the second part of the question, that how do we sanitize the massive pipelines of raw network telemetry that is obviously across the organization, and before it hits the LLM, and without destroying the forensic integrity. So obviously, when we are looking at this kind of situation, I would say it is you need to have obviously someone who is, let's say, AI red teaming. Now you can't get these kind of experts overnight. I think the classic I can give, so let's say if I had someone like Mehul in my team who is OSCP certified, who already is worked, obviously he knows about basic cybersecurity, I mean advanced cybersecurity attack uh, red teaming scenarios, and he's able to, oh, he's already delivering those kind of projects. I would quickly get him to AI security. He would be obviously easy to get him on the OAPS top 10 LLM kind of remediation methodologies. And then he becomes a part of my product team before it hits the production. So what it means is the product development team, when it comes to testing, I would already have an AI red teaming guy, which is the case in my company. And we will test it even before it goes to the client for their own production testing. So while we would have our own RAG and MCP, the entire the AI stack itself, but we would want this hacker, in our case it's me and one more guy. So we would look at it from that hacking perspective, the entire AI stack, because we know it's not just the model, but it's the entire AI stack that we need to look into. I understand that there is a lot of raw telemetry, and even if before it, I mean, it's coming to the AI to answer, but it's not what do you say, straightforward. Obviously, when we are in our because we're a product platform company, we ensure that there is enough amount of logging, and even from a as you know, there is a function to function call as well, right? So some of these models, they make a function to function call automatically as a part of their autonomous decision making capability. So we have enough audit logging, logs are being, let's say, captured and audited, or mechanism is there, so we can look at the where the model is changing its behavior. So this helps us in two manner. A is to control the AI model. B is to look at exactly the way you said, that there is no tampering of the forensic integrity itself. So we are able to have that entire audit logging forensic capability built into our model. And again, this varies. Not, I would say not everyone is that deep tech. In my case, I'm an ethical hacker, and I founded a company, and I couldn't think this deep. I'm not quoting any company, but you really rarely follow someone who is going this deep during the product development life cycle, or even when they are deploying their own AI teams and so on and so forth, because they haven't walked this journey. We are able to do this because obviously the founder itself is a ethical hacker, and that's the key difference. Also comes from leadership. But yeah, I don't. There is no straightforward answer to this question, and I can obviously I think the question came itself from Varunia. So Varun, I can actually even connect with you offline, and I can give you an answer. I can give the answer in separately to Mazda, and he will get back. But this is really this is a good question, but it's quite techy, and there is no right or wrong to it. But I think, as you can understand, it starts from product development itself and into the production. So that's all I have to say right at this moment.
Okay. Uh, the next question is about prompt injection itself, and I want to take a case study into consideration. So recent attack, you let me give you guys context. So in a recent attack, hackers created a fake web form connected to Salesforce, which sent an hidden malicious instruction to AI agent, causing sensitive customer data to be infiltrated. Given this scenario, what specific coding and security measures should a cybersecurity professional take to prevent prompt injection in this kind of a AI system?
Right. Okay. So let me summarize this question. I think in what you're saying, in a recent attack, hackers created a fake web form connected to Salesforce, which sent hidden malicious instruction to the AI agent. The agent caused the sensitive customer data to be exfiltrated, and obviously then it came out. So given this scenario, what specific coding and security measures should a cybersecurity professional take to prevent prompt injection in this kind of AI system? Right. So this actually is a very classic indirect prompt injection attack. It's a very, very classic AI attack, which is now very common knowledge, and everyone is now trying to even do this on all AI models. So here the key message again is, do not let the model directly trust external content. As in my from a previous discussion, I told you that the attack surface is large. That's why you cannot let anything that is coming from outside to be trusted. As I said, basic is zero trust, which is a known method, but this is much deeper than zero trust network or zero trust architecture. So you do not let the model directly trust external content or directly execute sensitive actions from the natural language. So the word here is direct, meaning anything from an outsider, you cannot just go ahead and action. But how do you do it in a dynamic, fast challenge AI environment, right? Because no user has the patience. Like if my models I'm providing to banks, and if the bank user has to just sit because there is a external query from the user, then if even if it's like 15 seconds, they are not going to do business with me. So how do we manage, right? What are the technical controls I would recommend? So let's start in terms of points. First, strong separation of instructions, data, and tools. So instructions, data, and tools. And how do you architecturally separate this? So we have system instructions, we have user requests, we have, let's say, from the user retrieve document, a CRM data, like what the user is wanting. So some retrieve information and the tool output, right? So because there are different tools in your RAG, in your MCP, you may not just be using one tool. So you may have different tools and that tool output. So separate, as I said, architecturally separate system instructions, user requests, retrieve documents slash CRM data or tool output. Now, do not concatenate everything into one giant prompt. I'm just trying to, again, for freshers, no disrespect, but I'm just saying when you say the word concatenate means do not put everything into one, like a giant prompt. You need to, break it down with, with proper labels, and then provide the model, the query. So if you do not concatenate everything and just make a one giant prompt without the label, the trust boundaries become diluted. So because if you give a big prompt, the AI model only looks at the edge statements. It's very difficult to process the middle information that much. So essentially, that's point number one. So strong separation of instruction data and tools. Second, treat retrieved content as untrusted. So anything that is retrieved, anything comes from, let's say, of Salesforce fields like forms, email bodies, notes, attachment, all this must be treated as a hostile content by itself. As I said, anything coming in is an issue. And you, in your architecture, you tag it as untrusted and explicitly instruct the model following things. A, never follow instruction found in the retrieved data. So what you're saying is any data that is retrieved by the model, it should not follow instructions coming from that. Second, only extract facts from the retrieved data. Third, never let retrieve content override system instructions. So you cannot, let's say, have a retrieve content and that retrieve content say, give me your admin password or override your admin password. That's a system failure. This is a design failure in AI. So you never let retrieve content override system instruction. I would say OWASP's prompt injection prevention guidance is very explicit on this design principle. So I think we, again, when you guys want to move in from cyber security and want to become an AI security expert, I would say again, change the mindset. It's not about just the model, it is about the design principle of the AI. We'll go to the, so we did discuss 2 points here: strong separation of instruction data and tools. We did the treat retrieve content as untrusted. We're going towards the third, which is the tool and action gating. So within the model, it should never be allowed to send data externally, should not be able to call a CRM or export an API, for example. It should not be able to email customer records, retrieve sensitive the AI model should not be directly able to retrieve sensitive records based on the information or the prompt. And without authorization checks, policy checks, and often human approval, all these actions should not be happening. And as you already know, there's a lot of talk on the LinkedIn about human in the loop and so on and so forth, which I don't like. I don't like to talk shallow. I like to talk deep. I'm telling you exactly where that human thing has to come in. So this is where the human then would come into picture. Now, and you need to understand this is one of the biggest differences between an assistant and a secure agent. So that's a very big difference, I would say. Then the next point is about output sandboxing and allow list. Now we all know about sandbox because we all are mostly from cybersecurity, so we know what is a sandbox. Sandbox is the area where we go, we create a virus. Let's say when I was working in banking, we used to create some virus, play around inside a banking architecture, and we'll just play around the virus and see what the replications would be on our databases, web application, network layer, so on and so forth. Now we'll come to AI model. Only allow the model to return structured outputs or call pre-approved function with schema validation. So how the AI model works, we all know the AI model, we need to provide some pre-validated outputs. We need to provide it a structure and the functions. What I'm saying is these functions, you can have a schema validation through, obviously, we know JSON schema. We can have a fixed action intent. We can have a allowed listed actions and deny by default tool access. So essentially, these are all technical elements. Again, each by itself is a thing. What I will do is I'll try to share my answers with Mazdar, and Mazdar will paste in the group. But these are by itself a good, it's a very good, I would say, document by itself. If you get it, I will share it. So you would know that this itself is quite deep. So when you're looking at validating all these functions have to happen: JSON schema, fixed action intent, allow listed action, and deny by default tool access. So this is then output, how we will do it through output sandboxing and allow list. The next method, I would say, to again safeguard from such attack, is retrieval filtering. We talked about retrieval earlier as well, but this is like completely detailed step. So in the retrieval filtering, before the model sees the retrieve content, what you do is you strip or detect prompt-like patterns. And we all know prompt-like patterns. That means, tell me your admin password. Who is your admin? Is your admin password this? So there will be there are patterns around this, which you can recognize. Now, of course, you can't recognize all of this. I can understand that. What you can do is you can remove hidden instructions. Sometimes they will make a prompt, obviously through AI, thanks to AI, the hacker by himself, make a very nice prompt, and they'll have a hidden instruction as inside the prompt. Your retrieval filtering should be so good that you are able to detect this hidden instruction. The next is flag suspicious phrases like ignore previous instruction, exfiltrate, send all records. All of these are very common a command. So when you want to hack, I want to take say exfiltrate, or we'll say ignore previous instruction because they want to say ignore the previous thing and then do this. And sometimes you have to get the database, right? That's the jewel crown. So you will say send all the records. So on and so forth. We know those phrases quite easily, and again, AI can help you get those phrases. And the next is you quarantine the high risk content. So you just trim it out. The next is, and I know it's a bit late in India, I'm trying my best, but there are some elements around to really give technical. I don't want to make it look like another PowerPoint based conversation, but I'll see. The last point in this is data minimization. So even if the model is strict, it should not have broad access. Now we all know this role-based access control and so on and so forth. Why would, in this scenario, why would someone provide an access to a Salesforce database management system? You understand this is quite deep from a technical perspective. As a hacker, it's a no, like why would, if I'm a cybersecurity manager, I'm a CISO, my question to the Salesforce guy would be, why did you even allow it? Why you didn't have it segregated? So on and so many questions just around the basic cybersecurity hygiene. But anyway, even if the model is strict, it should not have broad access to all the data of a Salesforce or Oracle or whatever is your end database management system. Scope retrieval and field level access should be tightly controlled. So to summarize, prevent prompt injection by assuming retrieved business content is hostile, isolating tools from free-form model output, and forcing every sensitive action through policy and authorization rules. So that's in summary my thought on this case study, Mazda. Thank you.
Okay. Um, if anybody has any questions, or I will move forward. Considering what role does threat modeling plays in AI development, and how should cybersecurity professionals integrate it from the start?
Okay. All right. So if I summarize, what I understand is what role does threat modeling play in AI development, and how would you integrate this from the start? From obviously, when I say start, it's from the product development. Okay. Okay, so when we look at the threat modeling, and obviously you can understand I started my career way back in 2006, and the threat management was not even a key topic at that moment. Yes, we all learned it as an ethical hacker, but really it was not put into practice many years, or I would say almost a decade later. It became a very separate topic, and today we have like a full-time role in cybersecurity. So my thought when it comes to AI is threat modeling should move from optional security workshop to a design input from day one. Meaning, I need to have a threat modeler, as I said, one person who really understands this entire thing and is sitting as part of my product development. Now, in AI system, threat, what do we cover? So I have a person, okay, and what does he do on a day-to-day basis, or what he's going to do on the first day? So he's going to look at model misuse. He's going to look at retrieval abuse. He's going to look at prompt injection. He's going to look at training data poisoning. He's going to look at the model supply chain, because obviously we don't just do one app. Let's say if the bank says, I want, for some funny reason they want speech to text or text to speech, I'm calling a different model from my AI model. So there's a function to function app call, and we discussed this, how I'll authorize it. We look at model supply chain, then you look at agent overreach, you're looking at privacy leakage, and then you're looking at unsafe autonomous action. You want to really control this, and that's the key things that the threat model needs to cover. Now, how does a good AI threat model answer when for all this? So it would say, like, what untrusted inputs can influence the model, what data can the model access, what actions can the model trigger, what happens if the model is wrong, what happens if an attacker manipulates context, tools, or data, and which failures are acceptable and which failures are hard stop, like where I call the kill function, as they call it in the AI model. Do you have a kill switch? So it's like you need to stop that. There is one more thing apart from OAPS top 10, which really again covers. There is something called this NIST AI risk management. Look at that also, because there are also some guidance around this, and both reinforce that AI risk is life cycle wide and system wide. It is not just like software life cycle. We see a risk, and no, the AI, because the life cycle of AI is so fast evolving, And as I said, also the systems associated with the AI model. So it is not limited to the model weights themselves. It is not just the AI model themselves. So in a simple message, I would say is threat modeling in AI is how you stop treating the model like magic and start treating it like a high risk software component. And this has to happen from day one. I think Mazda, that's all I wanted to talk on this. Thank you.
Okay. Just going to take this one case study, right? So very recently, Mercado, it is a company, right? And there was a breach over there where attacker compromised the AI training pipeline by poisoning an open source package, uploading a PyPI. This package, once integrated, allowed attacker to synopse API key, cloud credentials, and other sensitive data. Now, what Mercado basically does is they were the key supply chain partners for Meta, OpenAI, and Anthropic, and they provide training data for major firms. Like they provide AI training data to this major firm like Meta, OpenAI, and Anthropic, meaning that data processing was a critical part of a AI supply chain. So how does organizations secure open source packages that are widely used in LLM development, ensuring thorough vetting and ongoing monitoring? Let me just go through it one more time. Recent breach at Mercado, what happened was attacker compromised the AI training pipeline by poisoning an open source package, uploading a PyPI. This package, once integrated, allowed attackers to synopse API keys, cloud credentials, and other sensitive data. Mercod was a key supply chain partner to what they basically provide is training data for AI at Meta, Open AI, Anthropic, and so on. So, how does organization or cybersecurity profession ensures open source packages are uh, are properly vetted and monitored well?
All right. So this is a very good question. So actually, there is one small correction that the company name is Mercor, actually MERCOR. This is a very recent attack. This happened in the first week of April of 2026. Now I will just build a context. So obviously, Mazda, thank you. You did a good job. I'll just build a more context for the audience to understand what this company is. So Mercor is a AI training data startup. It is valued at over $10 billion. So it's just AI training data already valued at $10 billion and having its customers as Meta, for example. Now, there was a confirmed supply chain attack that allowed unauthorized access to its internal systems, and attackers have claimed to have stolen almost 4 terabytes of data, which is significant. And it includes the AI model training data, employee client records, and proprietary source code. So imagine Mercor, which got a $10 billion valuation. So definitely is much more valuable than my own company, thousands of times more valuable. But they have forgotten some few basic steps, and that's the problem. With all due respect, you will see that a lot of obviously founders, have businesses, massive businesses, and obviously they're coming from sales, marketing, and different backgrounds, so they may not have that in-depth knowledge of how to secure a model, or they may not have hired that. I don't know. So where the gap is, but clearly there was a gap. Now, there was an extortion group from Lapsus. They are linked to this incident, and they actually breached. It originated from a compromised light LLM dependency used in the CI/CD security scanning workflow of the company, which is Mersos. And Meta has obviously, after the hack, has paused all the work, and obviously now they're investigating the breach. And this is a big example for us, and it's very recent, so we don't know what has happened after that. And I don't know if the company will continue on or whatever. So let's look at the questions. The key question is, how can organizations secure open source packages that are widely used in LLM development, ensuring through vetting and ongoing monitoring? Now, my first reaction is, and that's the game. I mean, I'm not trying to sell my company. My first thought when I created my own company is, why would a regulated industry use a public large language model? And why would I want to have a open source kind of elements in my supply chain? And if I have it, how do I secure it? This is like a no-brainer. Like if when I was a banker, I would never allow open source. It has to go many approvals within the bank before I approve it. as a cybersecurity manager, even I became vice president or whatever the designation, I was always, even 10 years back, I was like, why open source? Tell me, justify me. I'll make them fill a few forms, make them run around, because you want to have the control. They should understand this is not something easy. Okay. Now let's come to how do we control this. So what are the security controls when it comes to these packages? So let's look at this. First, use private registries and proxies. You pin versions, so you pin the versions and the hashes. You generate and review software bill of materials. Now, when I talk of software bill of materials, this may look, this is like a very broad statement, but I want to give you one small example, because again, there is that thing that you will get from me, which you realize, which comes from a techie person. So let's say you get a software bill from a vendor. What you will ask, what you would you ever ask him the composition of the application? Generally, no one does that, but that's the problem. If they want to do a business with you, tell them to list all the components in their application and tell them to mention open source library, frameworks, their dependencies, and versions of each component. Now, for example, I will tell you. So, for example, the person who is providing an AI system uses Transformers 4.30, uses PyTorch 2.0, NumPy 1.25, and they have a custom package, whatever XYZ. So because when you get the software bill of material as a cybersecurity manager or whatever, as an analyst or whatever, the point is the details of the version. You get my point. So if someone is using Torch to PyTorch 2.0, you know the vulnerability. If you know the XYZ package, you know the compromise, whether it was recently compromised, not compromised. If you know the NumPy version, you know whether it's outdated or updated. So in short, if you don't know what's inside your software, there is no way you can secure it. So that's why I brought this software bill of material is so important. And I know, and I'm pretty confident, I've left India decades, more than a decade now, but I'm pretty sure it's still the case in India, where they'll just tell you the name of the application. They never tell you the details of that application. And my request is, please, infants, they have to break it down, and they should send an annual, whenever there is a change request, obviously they have to follow the change request and send you an annual a review of that software component itself, which you guys should be doing anyway as a part of the cybersecurity practice. So let's come back. So let's come back to the package security control. So use private registry and proxies, pin versions and hashes, generate and review software bill of materials, scan dependencies continuously. So you scan it internally, use signed packages and provenance. So what is provenance? This word is very important. Provenance means beginning of something's existence, or what is the origin of that. So let's put in a simple English, something's origin. So use signed packages and provenance. You want to know what's the origin, where available. You need to have a separate build and runtime credential. You need to rotate secrets automatically. You need to restrict the CI/CD egress point, and you need to ensure that never let the training pipelines have excessive cloud permission. If the training pipelines have excessive cloud permission, then it's a pain. And I think this is almost an answer I would give to the person who had asked in the beginning, right? About, I think these steps itself is the answer to the previous question which someone has raised. So hopefully this should help. So all I mean to say is OWASP's top 10 LLM already includes supply chain vulnerability as a critical supply chain vulnerability as a critical thing, and training data poisoning as core risk, which validates treating package integrity and external data providers as first-class security concerns. And how about a partner security controls, right? You're a company, you're buying from, let's say, my company, CyberAi. You have your controls. We talked about that. How about a partner control, especially someone who is providing you data? So for data suppliers, model providers, annotators, I don't know if you know the word annotator. And annotator is a let's say a person or a software tool that adds explanatory, critical or descriptive notes about the annotation. So meaning if someone is buying a data, it will add raw data about the images, the tags, the video, to create high quality training sets for artificial intelligence. So that's what you would need, like proper tagging and labeling. Okay, what do you need from partner security control? So you need security due diligence before onboarding. I'm sure this is already happening in bulk of the companies in India. So you need a security due diligence for AI providers. before you onboard, and then you need to ask these questions, which we are talking about, right? About all the prompt injections, so on and so forth. What is the models? How is it made? So on and so forth. The next is contractual security requirements. Third is minimum logging and incident notification obligation. So what is the minimum logging, and how do they respond to an incident? And what is the service level agreement around that? The next is the provenance checks on data and model artifacts. We used this word before. Provenance means to know what is the origin of that thing. So you need to have checks on those data and model artifacts. Segmentation of partner access, validation of data sets before training and ingestion, and continuous monitoring and not one-time assessment. So in short, in AI, your supply chain is not just software package. It is actually the data, the model artifact, the annotations, the connectors, and the external tools. So you can understand the landscape is really massive in AI. That's all I have to talk on this.
Okay. There's one more question from Shreyas. If you
So here, actually, I was listening very keenly, and I was interested to figure out, since we were talking about, supply chain security and security in architecture and so on. Do you think, I'm aware that new standards are coming out for AI security as well, but do you think those standards are keeping up well, in the current day, with what organizations need to do in order to have a secure pipeline? Because I don't know if there's enough time, but I think we do bug bounties on the side as well. And there are some really big programs that we hunt on, and even they, at the end of the day, do not end up following the basic principles that you discussed right now. Uh, so I
Yeah,
think
I
that is
mean,
also a
if you
product.
ask,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, complete your question.
So I think that is a product security thing at the end of the day. But do you think when we are talking about supply chains, the standards are keeping up?
See, essentially standards are there, and I feel, as a, if you ask me as a cybersecurity professional, I don't care for, see, once I got, let's say, the ISO 27001, right? This has been there for so many years, right? When it had 114 control, I knew on the tip of my tongue. I think now there are 98 controls, I still know it by default. So I think it doesn't matter. Let's say AI is there in 2026, it will be there in 2036. And if you, by then, you already know these, let's say, top 10 LLM, OAP's top 10 LLM, you will see they haven't changed. So imagine me looking at OAP's top 10, which is the primary cybersecurity one, okay, plain vanilla without the AI. And when I compare the 2006 to now, to the OAP's top 10 now, which is the pure cybersecurity one, the massive change was due to cloud. When the cloud came in, out of the 10, 4 to 5 were changed. But can you believe that brute force attack, SQL injection, they are still there in the OAP's top 10, original one, which was way back in 2006. So I learned SQL injection brute force at that point in time. Coming back to standards, see, these standards are there, but it's about the mindset. I would say, just if you take away today from this session itself, if you know, the mindset is that it is not just about a model, it is about the AI stack. And if you as a professional, right, if you go and tell him, you know what, when we hire the onboard, or when we onboard the AI company, do we ask the software bill of material? Can you show me how does it look? Oh, this is quite broad. Can we ask them to give me this? And believe me, the vendor has to give, because he wants a business, right? So he's supposed to give you a software bill of material. And if you as a company tell him that I want this detail with all the open source library version, so and so, he has an obligation to respond. The point is, are we asking the right questions? Do we have the knowledge? When I talk to a lot of, with all due respect, with all the other AI colleagues, I don't want to say only in India, but let's say quite a lot globally as well, they are not that deep, because the point is, everyone is just looking at LinkedIn and Instagram and everything on the surface value. Everyone is AI expert on LinkedIn, but no one wants to go in that deep, because people don't have that deep knowledge. And people like me who have deep knowledge, I don't do these free kind of videos and don't spend time on LinkedIn and all that. I don't have time for that. I come in, I like where there is a professional curiosity, and I like people to answer me out of curiosity, who have passion, because when you have curiosity, that means there is passion. And I hire people for passion. I like to do seminars and things for people who have passion, not just for, I just go and talk on YouTube and all of. There's no right or wrong to this, but obviously everyone's principle is different. So there is Yeah, I don't know how to answer it, but you're right. People don't have knowledge. That's why they don't ask. And if you don't ask, then you'll get a poor quality. And when you have poor quality, you will be hacked for sure.
So I think we can say that organizations and vendors themselves need to, develop a culture around this thing instead of relying on
Absolutely.
standard practice.
Absolutely. Like, why would you, let's say if you're an AI security, let's say you want to migrate. So let's say you're a cybersecurity guy today, right? I don't know if there's an AI security specialist role, for example, in India. But let's say your company doesn't have. But if you can take the learning from this session and start building that thing that, Shreyas, am I correct? So let's say Shreyas, wow, Shreyas is asking question on AI security. He's also telling us how to remediate risk associated with AI. And I think if we have a role for this kind of thing for AI security, let's move Shreyas ahead because he's already demonstrated controls and how we can mitigate risk in AI. So I think what we need to take away from such sessions is that we learn and then we go and implement in our organization or in our day-to-day work and create that wow factor for us. And also hopefully, again, it varies from culture. I know it's so difficult in India, but hopefully someone sees that passion and thing in you and says, guys, there's an AI security role coming in, and when you do that IJP or whatever that interview, you crack it. As simple as that.
All right, that sounds good, and I think that answers the question ourselves. I had a couple more questions, but I think they'll come eventually. Uh,
No, yeah, no problem. And obviously, as I said, if we are pushed for time, I've already shared my LinkedIn, and of course, Mazdad is keeping a Discord channel open for next 24 hours. Drop in your questions. I genuinely will look at it. I genuinely will reply back. So, yeah, so no worries on that.
Thanks.
Right, Mazdad?
Nazzad, you're on.
Mute.
I hope I'm audible now. There is one question from Varun, but we will take it in the last, considering we are running out of time already. I'm just going to go to this question. For professional building or wanting to integrate LLM into their product, public or open source model like ChatGPT, Claude are often easiest choice. So from technical and cybersecurity perspective, how should they decide whether to use this model or invest in building a private LLM? What are the what are the concrete advantages in area like data control, security, compliance, and governance actually justifying the added complexity and the cost? So the question here is there are people who would want to build some LLM models. There are people who want to integrate those AI model into their product. Obviously, there are ChatGPT, Claude in India. There is Savan AI, which is pretty recent. What do you, as a professional, would say to this cybersecurity pros when it comes to investing their time in private LLMs? Because obviously there is a complexity, there is cost, so if you could give me a whole overview of, what are the advantages in terms of data control, security, compliance, governance? What are the industries in which private LLM would be a very good choice, and so on and so forth?
Right. So first, I would say just hire me because we already worked 2.5 years to perfect the privatize of foundational LLM models. But I don't want to sell and make this as a sales pitch. But all right, let's come back to this question seriously. So, see, guys, when we are see the challenge here is not about the public or the private models. So it's not about that. It is about the risk, control, and accountability. So I would simply say, what happens if this AI makes a mistake or leaks data? So your fundamental question is, forget about public, private, on all these big talks, right? When you are, let's say, I don't know in what context, but let's say you're a manager or you're using a AI or whatever in the role, you need to, if you are interacting with AI, if you're owning the risk, then you need to understand what happens if this AI makes a mistake or leaks data. Now, for example, I'll give you an example. If the impact is low, like internal productivity, drafting email, general question answer, then and obviously then then public or managed models like ChatGPT or Cloud, they are perfectly fine as far as you're not a regulated industry, right? They are fast, they're scalable, they're easy to use. Let's say I love to read a lot. I'm a researcher as well, so I love to read. I have so many subscriptions already, but now I'm overwhelmed because I can't read each one newsletter. So I've created Zapier. I've created an AI model, and all of it just goes every day, reads all these articles, and provides me a summary. And also, I've plugged in the 11 Labs, so also gives me a speech to text and text to. I mean, I listen to the audio while I'm in gym, for example. There is no risk to this because I've only given access to those email, my personal email, but only to those email ID emails that come from those newsletters. Goes, read, and converts. There is no risk, and I'm okay to use. I myself am using open or public LLM because for me the risk is none or minimum. But if the AI is handling sensitive customer data, it is operating in a regulated industry, it is influencing business critical decisions, then definitely you need to have a private or a controlled deployment. Now, why? And now there are again flavors to this, right? So when I was starting my company, a lot of people like say they copy paste DeepSeek or ChatGPT or Olama, save it on their local computer, and then they call it a private LLM. And again, as a hacker, anything which is a public architecture, I can hack it. Obviously, it takes time and effort. It may take 360 days, 370 days, 700 days, but it's about me hacking that model. If I can hack it, only one, you're gone, because that's all I need to do. So the point is, any public model where I can go to YouTube or learn from ChatGPT, then it's easy to hack. But if you go and search my model, which is, let's say, the models developed by CyberAI, there's no public information. You can never hack. I mean, you will have to make double the effort because A, you don't know the underlying architecture. B, it's a foundational AI model. It's a lot of pain. C, our entire AI tech stack, our RAG, our MCFEs are curated for the customer. And the most important is, if it's a bank, it is inside the bank's cloud or bank's on-premise server. So it is inside the client architecture. It is not a SaaS and those kind of things. So what are the real advantages of private AI? First, data control. So your data stays within your environment. There is no exposure to external model providers. Second, security. You define the network boundaries, you define the access controls, and you define the monitoring, not a third party. The third point, compliance and auditability. You can prove where data went, how decisions were made, and also meet the regulatory requirements. Fourth, governance. You can enforce policies, approvals, risk controls around how the AI is used. So, in summary, yes, private AI adds complexity, but in regulated environment, it is not a luxury; it is actually a requirement. So, have a simple rule when you are up to that challenge. What is, when you want to, let's say, determine whether you want to go private or public? Simple rule is, use public models for speed and use private AI for trust and control. The more critical the decision, the more control you need over the AI. It's as simple as that.
Understood. Here is the last question from my side, and then we will there will be some short session for everyone else to ask question. I am just rushing because of the time constraint.
Yeah, I'm
Last
also
question.
quite late in India. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Last question would be, you have been in this industry for 21 years, right? And so what can people or the member of cybersecurity crew can do to stay relevant for next 21 years or more, especially considering everything that is happening right now? So every other day you see on LinkedIn, somebody will come up and say cybersecurity is dead. It's over. I guess it's time to raise your hands and go back to something else. So what is that you would like to instruct to the members who have joined this event?
Okay, so I don't want to sound like a dinosaur, but I'll tell you one thing for sure. See, guys, I started. I think lot of you guys also might have started with dial-up modem and so on and so forth. So I used to troubleshoot dial-up modem, then moved to ADSL troubleshooting, then became an ethical hacker. Long story short, technology has changed in terms of the environment. So obviously, moved from dial-up to DSL to fiber broadband, and now we are moving towards satellite. That's the connectivity part of it. Obviously, we were OSI 7 layers, but now we look at application layer as the most important layer from a hacking perspective. So essentially, instead of physical layer, network layer, data layer, the key is application, and that's why all the attacks are now happening. So I would say I've seen a lot of changes. Obviously, we have seen on-prem servers, then we moved to cloud, and now obviously we have AI coming in. Whenever there is a change, there is opportunity. So I would just like to summarize first. If I had to summarize my 21 years of lesson into one, it is about don't choose tools, build thinking. Again, I would repeat, don't chase tools, build thinking. Technology will keep changing. Today it's AI, tomorrow it will be something else, quantum, so on and so forth. All that gyan will go on. People who stay relevant are the ones who understand systems, not just tools. So if you step into IT, like in my family members, if I tell someone that now that you're in IT, you're not going to stop learning. Sometimes I feel that I should, put the kids in medical, because at least in medical, you can study once, MBBS, you're done and dusted. You make money, you don't have to overthink too much. There are third-party companies telling you all the new product tools, you just incorporate and you make money. But us as IT people who have stepped into this, I tell you, you're in a very, I don't want to make it negative, but you're in a journey that you're never going to stop learning. The day you stop learning, you're going to be outdated very soon. So I'll summarize. Technology will keep changing. Today it's AI, tomorrow will be something else. The people who stay relevant are the ones who understand systems, not just tools. That's why in my previous answer I told, look at the AI full stack, the entire stack itself, not just one model. It is not just the model, it's the entire stack behind it. Now, how do we fix it, right? Now, there is no method right or wrong to this, and I don't know right answer. I'll give you three things to do. First, stay curious. The industry rewards people who keep learning, not people who rely on what they learned 5 years ago. Forget about 5 years. September 2025 से लेके अभी तक all AI models have changed. All base models have changed all. So the technology itself has shifted from September 2025 till now. So whatever 10 years, 15 years of AI experience everyone is writing in India on resume does not help me, does not even help if you were a 2025 AI engineer. If you have been an AI engineer from September 2025, come and talk to me. Or just don't call yourself expert. That is number one. Number two, second point, move up the stack. Don't just learn how to use AI, understand how it impacts security, business decision, and risk. If you're just learning AI and if you only know how to code, I will find a coder one day. But if you are a coder who is able to think security, think business decision, and the risk, I would love to work with that coder. I love this kind of people. The third is combine disciplines. The future belongs to people who connect cybersecurity, AI, cloud, and business thinking, not just one area. So if I would just be a cybersecurity expert today, I will not be able to give you such a holistic view because I have seen from different dimension. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm not saying, because I know a lot of freshers are there on this call. It might go wrong. That my message might sound a bit incorrect. But I would say if you're a fresher, build one domain first. And when I say domain, in cybersecurity, there itself, there are so many domains. You have SOC, you have threat management, you have vulnerability management, you have pen testing, you have GRC. I mean, I can go on, I can actually go on because I know cybersecurity so very well. But the point is, make one, work for 2, 3 years, make one good domain. And when you say good, guys, jump into it. I know it's hard as a fresher, and same, I'm struggling with my family members as well for the youngsters. But those 2, 3 years, read, write, listen, and publish your thing. Make good content on LinkedIn, Substack, Medium. You guys have so much opportunity to write and publish. Do that. And finally, don't be afraid of AI replacing you. Be afraid of not learning how to work with it. So don't be afraid of AI replacing you, but be afraid of not learning how to work with AI. Because the professionals who will win are not those who compete with AI, but those who know how to control, secure, and apply AI responsibly. So I think the next 21 years won't be about who knows the most. It will be about who adopts the fastest. So again, I will just summarize the three things you need to focus. Stay curious, move up the stack, combine the disciplines. Hopefully, I'm not saying this is the perfect secret ingredient sauce from me, but instead of giving 20, 30 minutes of gyan and big lectures, I feel even if you do these three, bare minimum, I'm sure you would still be in the industry after 20 years. No worries.
Okay. Uh,
Right, Mazda?
Thank you for, like helping us out. Now, what I'm just going to do is take last two questions. If there is, if there are any more questions from you guys, like what I will do is I will send you the LinkedIn of Dr. Davar, right? That way you can ask him personally. But once again, we have a Discord server where we will make sure those questions are answered, right? So you can go there and ask those questions in Ask Me Anything. Uh, First, we will take the question from Varun. He has been saying one last question. Uh, he said, in the era of agentic governance, where AI agents generate patch code and vibe coding, can we cryptographically verify if a SBOM represent valid architectural intent rather than hallucinated one?
See, this is a good question. So obviously there is, I would say you can, because again it is possible cryptographically. I mean, we know the hashes, we know the MD5, like from the olden technology itself. We know if there is a change, we can detect it and we can prevent it, or we can whatever take the necessary remediation action. The point is, doesn't matter all these cryptography and all the terminology. The basic thing is there is a detection method possible. Yes, I understand the AI is smarter, but as I said, if you know the design principles correctly, you would like you if you have that bent of mind, no, you'll quickly see, you'll have that feel that there is something wrong. So the point is that build that. I'm again actually repeating believe me, if you are facing this kind of thing, if you have the design mindset and the AI tech stack knowledge, you will be able to figure it out. And there is a clear technical method when it comes to hashes and file representation, or anything that is misrepresented from SBM perspective. You will be able to validate it in architecturally, and you'll be able to detect it automatically as well. So don't worry about this, because bulk of the things that I'm not saying you as personally, but a lot of these risks that people are thinking is actually they're overthinking it. There is already a technical method to prevent this. It's about us just creating that awareness and deploying it in our workspace.
Understood. Uh, yeah, there's one question from Shivani Sharma. Shivani,
Yeah, I just have one very confusing question, you can say. Uh, so I heard about the Meteos and that it can detect all the vulnerabilities. So if AI is like counterfeiting, you can say the other AI models that we will create the LLM models. Uh, how do you suggest we will prevent it? Do you think there will be upcoming technology to prevent that, or some standards?
Right. But also, thank you, Shivani. So, Mythos, I think just to give a brief context, I think everyone knows about it. This is the new AI model from OpenAI, where actually cloud. I forgot. Apologies. But so this model actually detected a vulnerability which was not found some 20 or 16 years back. They found automatically through this model a vulnerability. This became a big sensational news, and everyone is thinking, "Oh, this is going to change cybersecurity," and a lot of the cybersecurity companies share crunch and so on and so forth. Guys, this is what we see on the news. But as I said, I'm a techie and I read a lot of things. Coincidentally, yesterday I had I heard a speech on Bloomberg from a lady who's a company in London. I don't recall the name, but she said a very good thing. See, everything that we see is a large language model. Like my company also, we do large language model, but we do small language model. And I like one thing what she said, and I agree what she was saying. The small language model can detect this vulnerability or could have detected. The problem is because it is being detected by a small company and by a small language model, it didn't become such a big thing. Mythos did detect something which was 26 years back, for example. but it did not tell about what it did not detect, because then she pointed out what all Mythos did not detect, which was no-brainer vulnerabilities which were not detected by that model. But no one talked about it. So what you see, Shivani, is actually, as I said, that when you see things, no, people talk on surface, especially with all due respect in Southeast Asia, So when you think about it, now let's say you have heard about Mythos, try to dig on it, see what is other things that it failed, what it passed, what are the other ways, and you will figure out actually what Mythos did was already being happening. It's just that because of the public large language model by a big company who's so famous and then has access to news and publicity, they went ahead and they got very famous and now they're getting big contracts. But there are companies like the lady who said we were able to determine this using a small language model, and it was much before Mythos, and she said it was done in the year of 2025, somewhere around August, I think she said. So the point is, it's not like there are research or practitioners who don't know about this. We know about this. There are a lot of massive research. So coming to your fear, will we not be able to detect it? I think human brain, and every time, as we know, hackers, when I used to hack in 2006, I would hack things in days. Then came, because it was on-prem, Microsoft environment. We know Microsoft OS so very well, inside out. Moved to cloud, it started taking months. Now with all the security, two-factor authentication, encryption, so on and so forth, it is taking years for hackers to hack into. These hacks that you see don't get in one day. They are sitting in your network for hundreds of days before they have made that move, the kill move. So they already have established a command and control center internally. There are a lot of things that we are doing at the back end as a hacker, which you don't see on the surface, but you only see the attack. So the point is, it is getting difficult to attack. So don't get perturbed by all these LinkedIn and Instagram and everything. Take one subject, go deep dive into it, slash and dice it. Come back to people like me. Now you know me, so come back to me and let's have a brainstorming session. And slowly, when you go on that journey, you'll feel there are so many like me. I'm not saying I'm some big, yeah, thing, but you will see a lot of people like me around in the industry who are doing research, who are deep, who are much above and beyond LinkedIn and Instagram and so on and so forth. So don't get caught up. You're gonna have an amazing career. You're gonna be the best security professional in AI, in quantum, or whatever comes. If you build the right mindset, don't worry about what's coming, whether it's satellite, whether it's quantum, and also don't jump into technologies. Don't think about quantum. Again, that's India. There's a big talk. We are having a national quantum. With all due respect, it's all good. It is good to think about the future, but as we say, present is a gift. Enjoy the present. It is a gift. And you're good. Don't worry.
Okay. One last question, if we could take it from Shreyash, please go on.
Actually, I saw a couple of minutes and I was like, maybe I can chime in as well. And because we were talking about mythos, what I actually do is I made CV based labs. So whenever new CV came out, my task was to go through, find POCs, validate the CVs, make labs, and then submit them. So I was doing a lot of work with CVs, and many a times what I saw was, there were POCs by the researcher who found the CV, and the POCs were non-functional, and they were published on GitHub. They were given security advisories. They were on NVD as well. And I think even when we were doing all this, my personal sentiment was there are not enough, people who actually validate POCs and CVs
CVs.
and so on.
Agree.
And then I was looking into something called this CA. There's a framework called CAI, which is like a couple of years old. So that was before Mythos as well. So I think the main focus that manual pen testers, what we are scared of is of the wrong thing. So Mythos is a model, right? We models will always get better year by year. But I think agentic AI is something that we should, discuss more openly and widely, because we are that chimes in with the automation as well. So Mythos is one thing, but do you think agentic AI by itself, using things like LLM orchestrators and automating a lot of manual steps in pen testing. So early on, we had a lot of junior pen test roles. But do you think that that will affect this? I mean, my observation is that it will affect the market as it is. Uh, but I wanted to shift the conversation a bit towards agentic AI from Mythos because, as you rightly said, that is what Mythos is doing is not something new. It has been in the pipeline since so many years, 2023, 2025, and so on.
So, Shreyas, I understand, just to summarize, is that you are saying no, the focus should be on agentic AI because there we have real capacity and capability being built, where let's say a junior pen tester or a lot of that, say the workflow would get automated and the AI would start doing it. Correct? Am I correct in my understanding? That's your question?
Yeah, actually, it's a very broad-ended question as well. I just wanted to discuss it with you. It's not a
No, no
question. What
worries.
I from it is what I'm meant to ask.
See, I don't know. Just to keep it built the context, I think I would summarize it that way, and I'll give you one example, and I'll give you a very industrial example. I don't know in cybersecurity you're familiar with SOAR. There's something that came in as security orchestration, automation, and response. This came
Yes.
a decade back, or maybe more than a decade, perhaps now. Okay, uh, I can't jog my memory. I'm sure around 2015 or whatever. So you can just Google it, but I know it's more than 10 years now. At that time, I was a cybersecurity manager, and I thought was when the SOC will come, all L1 analysts, SOC L1 analysts would go away. There would be no need. The SOC will not have a L1 layer. It will be L2 and L3 done and dusted. We all jump on the bandwagon in the industry. All top banks, everyone doing massive $1 million contract given, so on and so forth. Bottom line, SOR came. Don't know where it is today. All L1s still have a job. Everyone is doing very well. Fair enough. That's one practical example. I'll give you a second one. You're right. AI will come, it will do a lot of things that, let's say, I was doing. So I was doing reading on a day, it's doing the agentic AI is doing the work, I'm getting the output, my lot of hours are saved. All this maturity will happen, right? Technology will make it easy. As I said I think the fundamental is, as I said in my answer also, that it's not about that the AI is going to, it's not that the AI is going to take you. It will not replace you, but you have to be afraid of not learning how to work with it. If you are able to work with it, whatever is new coming, because we also don't know, maybe tomorrow itself there might be some big news, I don't know. But let's say the mythos comes over and takes away some security jobs. But what is the next that we can learn, right? So I told you that there were three things that I talked about, right? Move. So first was stay curious. Second was move up the stack. Third, combine disciplines. This is an example of move up the stack. If you see something is coming, like I myself, right? I'm a cybersecurity guy who wanted to have a cybersecurity company. I'll tell you that. In 2019, I put my heart and soul to it, and I said it didn't work out. I said, okay, forget it. I came to London and I saw massive opportunity. I said, this is the time to get into AI security, and AI security is the thing. I started with AI security, but I became an AI product development company because I wanted to make a privatized LLM, and I hated public LLM. I had the whole use case of why would someone in a logical mindset use a public, like a chat GPT in a bank or a hospital or wherever. I have a massive thing on that thing because I don't agree. I do not agree a public LLM should be working in a regulated industry at all. And that's my use case. What I'm saying is move up the ladder, but there is no fixed answer. What I will do is I'll summarize my answers with Mazdat, go through my responses. All I'm saying is it's about a mindset rather than a technology by itself, because these things will come. Now quantum will come, it will break the encryption methodology, new cryptographic standards will come. All this theory we know, but how many years now I'm listening to, I know this theory since last 5 years. It's the same, I'm doing
Yes.
talks on quantum, but what, nothing has happened. People are now already quantum expert on LinkedIn. Are you kidding me? I mean, are we seriously quantum experts? We are not even AI expert. I'm not even cybersecurity expert. After 21 years, if you ask me what is my rating out of 10, I would say I'm 6 or 7. Today, I have an AI company in London. If you ask me what is my AI rating, I would say I'm 2 or 3. It is not because I'm humble, but we are fooling ourselves. This is an experimentation phase of AI. The DeepMind CEO himself has said that this is an experimentation phase. That guy from childhood he wanted to do this. He wanted to know how the brain works. If you read his autobiography, That's a guy like Sachin Tendulkar who said, "I want to be a cricket player." That is the guy who wanted to do AI, not like us who just jumped on the bandwagon and now or not me, but others are calling themselves AI expert. So that's the guy who I would say is the expert, right, in the industry, who wanted to do this from childhood. So anyway, so don't worry about this, guys. This is just thing,
I
Just,
think AIs do hallucinate, but people and markets they also hallucinate, overthink, and hallucinate a lot. And
absolutely.
I think that's how it ultimately ends up in you with headlines and
Absolutely.
situations like this.
Yeah, don't worry. That's why, I stopped, I don't do so much of public social media and all of this. Yeah, it's not worth the time. And instead, read some research paper, read some deep tech newsletter or something like that. I would say that would take the fear out of you, because then, there is a maths, there is a science, there is a theorem, there is a reason why person is doing something like that. I would put it that way.
So building our understanding of what is actually going on is actually more important than just relying on headlines.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think someone asked which one do I recommend. Okay, I will put in a link. Again, it's not like I'm saying you have to follow him, but he's on Substack.
What I would suggest is, considering this is a good question and you might have a lot of reading material, right? What I will do is I will connect with you and I will take, like whatever that your reading materials are that you recommend, and we will create a post it into the community. We will recommend it to our community on LinkedIn as well as Discord. That will be a very good thing, because then they could just process that whole information.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't
I've
think,
sent already a few, but yeah, happy to do that, Mazda. We can work on that nowadays.
because you will have a lot of them, right? Like you said, you have.
And I don't want to overwhelm people, but again, it depends what everyone is seeking, right? My journey is towards AI now. So someone is a lot of freshers here. So you need to be mindful of, you don't want to confuse them, because you don't have to be AI security at this expert, I would say. No need to do that. Take one cybersecurity domain, get good at it. AI just becomes a part of it. You learn on the job. I think the idea right now for freshers is there are no jobs, guys. The idea is to get a job. If you get a job and if you can do well and build a domain for that 2 to 3 years, then you try to become move to the next skill, move to the next thing. Don't be generic. The world is towards specialist. So gone are the days. You have to specialize in one. I would say, let's say Mazdad. So if someone says, who's Mazdad? If you are at a cybersecurity, say, oh, Mazdad is a threat management guy. Oh, Mazdad is a SOC guy. Oh, Mazdad is an ISO guy. If that's how you want to be known, I would say that's, if you are able to do that in 2 3 years, then you move to the next skill set.
Thank you for the session, Dr. Dattawala. Will surely host you in future, right?
Thank you.
And what I will do is I will send all of you guys the email, which will be transcription. There will be live video. Aside from that, I will also be sharing the reading material from Dr. Dattawala. If you guys have any more questions, right, if they come up, please go to our Discord server. You can scan this scanner on our screen. I have also shared the links in the chat. You will also receive them through our email, because the next event, we will go into details. We will show you demonstration on some of the things that we have learned today, right? So guys, thank you for being here. And once again, thank you, Dr. Dattawala, for being over here.
Thank
Uh,
you all for staying up so late in the evening in India. I appreciate it, and wish you all a
Thank
good
you.
weekend. And I hope you really learned something from my session. And again, happy to connect. And please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And have a good weekend, guys, and enjoy the evening. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining. Uh, that's all. I guess I will end the meeting soon.
Thank you.
Guys, I will, you can scan this and join our Discord community. I have also shared the link over here. You will also be receiving an email regarding the same. Thank you.
Thank you.